everybody. I'm back for another review of Life After Lockup, Sugar Daddy Drama, Season 6, Episode 12. So this is, I'm late because I was away this weekend. Okay, so we'll just get started with Laticia and Keith. Laticia, there are so many things. Okay, but nevertheless, did the driver get out at some point? I know this is edited, but still, get out so they could have sex and change their clothes. Didn't it look like that? Like he just got back in the car after. Anyway, and he was like, "Oh, the sex was amazing." I said, "Well, any sex is amazing after leaving prison, I imagine." Anyway, something is odd about having sex with a grown man. I'm gonna talk about somebody in their 20s, but it is still odd, but especially a grown man. And then talking about how you have to get on the bus when she rented the limo. Now, my thing is, Laticia, girl, you didn't know how he needed to get home or to the halfway house via the bus. You didn't know that before he got out. I find it very difficult to believe that he didn't tell you that. But you had time to research that his halfway house was co-ed, and you acting like somebody wants him like that. So I trust him, not them. Well, if you trust him, then them don't matter. Anyway, nobody with anything going on should mess with him. You don't have anything going on, which is why you mess with him, unless they're battling depression and low self-esteem. And that happens. So they get on the bus, and she thought she was taking him to the halfway house. Well, she said he thought she was taking him directly to the halfway house, but instead they meet them at the bus stop, gas station, or whatever. And she has the kids meet him with the signs, I think including his children, his family, and her kids. Naraya, that's the teenager. Baby girl is over it. And I blame Laticia every single time. And his family is there. I am bothered by the fact that they have to use subtitles because of all of that stuff, all of that messed up gold in his mouth. Like, how did you even maintain that in prison? I mean, people can't maintain it on the outside well. It's not healthy. It's not like a regular crown filling or, some kind of porcelain material. I mean, this is like stuff that is not even like the kind of thing dentist would make sure is healthy in your mouth. Anyway, seeing his father cry, honestly, that was really moving. That was really moving. He has 3 months in the halfway house. I said, dang, that's a long time, don't you think? I think that's a long time for somebody who's been in there 11 years. They be doing black people on some BS. They got JK just rolling around. I don't care if they're different states. Texas, Iowa, same difference. So she's worried about the chicks in the halfway house, but your daughter is clearly unhappy that this man is moving in, and it's affecting her. She's more concerned about him with women than that child. And your daughter is going to grow up resenting you. She already resents you now, and she looks depressed. And I know there's not a way to look, but there are certain things that I notice. And granted, teenagers go through those moments because they have all of these hormones that are just, like, there's a lot of things you just can't help. And now I look back on, being a teenager was hard. You're not really allowed to say that in a lot of households because nobody thinks that you're not paying the bills. But, like, it was hard. And I think it's difficult for me to watch her, and especially since Naraya and baby girl are with his aunt, not her family. They're left with her. It's weird to me. Like, the aunt's relationship toward him is weird to me. Like, it feels like she's watching Laticia, but Leticia's letting it. It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, Courtney and Will. But where is the and Troy? Okay, now if I'm gonna have somebody to go in on, I prefer them. Okay, because Courtney and Will can go. This is done. It should have been done last time. So get them off my screen. We don't care. They're boring. Will is dumb. You get what you get. Courtney has multiple men. Surprise. How many times have we seen this show and all the episodes? This is not new. And it's not one of those I never suspected it things. Everybody told you, Will. Everybody told you not to do it. Your friends before you left Sacramento, people are asking you, are you sure? Your homeboy since then that we've seen this season. So everybody told you that. Her mother told you. So stop. I don't feel sorry for you. Matter of fact, y'all are moving into that Savannah and Bradley category where I might not even review y'all because this is a waste. So he's going to pick her up from jail again. His friend called him dramatic, which was so the wrong word. He was like, I think it's really dramatic for you to drive from California to Oregon. He said, I hope you don't spend any more money on her. Well, he's already spending gas money. Followed up by, well, it's your life. I was like, that is that is him basically saying, you are going to ruin yourself. But it's your life to ruin. Anyway, the interstate exchange has been denied. Of course, she went back to jail like what? Was it like 2-3 weeks later or something? It was wild. Why did y'all think that was gonna work? Literally, he's driving to get her out of jail when he finds this out. I said, you deserve whatever you get. All right, anyway, so when we see Courtney walking physically out of jail, my thing is, why? I mean, I understand to some degree because she's walking out of jail, but she walks out in the freezing snow with only a hoodie and sweatpants. And a guy named Mark came to pick her up. We already knew what kind of dude Mark was. And she's asking, well, where's Will? Where's Will? I didn't see originally who they said Mark was because WeTV had some advertisement covering it up. But she calls Will in those sweatpants and hoodie. And it was like that ice snow, that snow that like stays over because it's so cold. And I'm like, if you don't get in a car and warm up, and then you're going to wonder why you sick. Anyway, okay, girl. She calls Will and is mad that he is still in Sacramento. He never left. She is arguing him on the phone, and I'm just sitting up there like, you got to be cold. You have to be cold. That was bothering me. All right. So she said, well, I thought you were going to do something like this, which is why I called Mark. So you basically tell him about your sugar daddy. Okay. This episode was not worth naming after her. Then Will started tripping that Mark had picked her up from prison. She said, well, you know, he helps me out. He gives me cash every now and then, but he's not my sugar daddy. Baby. Courtney, stop lying to us and to yourself. You just don't like him. That's always blown my mind when I remember first time I heard that, somebody was in college. She wasn't in college, but we were hanging out with somebody's cousin or whatever. And she was like, man, I can't stand this guy. He's so stupid. He pays for my hair or this, that, and the other. And I was like, I just did not have that ability. Then or now to pretend to like somebody in their face, then hate them, but still have sex with them. And this was not, I mean, she was living with her mother, like she was like in her mid-20s. Her mother was making bank. Okay, so it wasn't like she wouldn't be with a roof over her head, you know. And I'm just sitting up here like, how can you do that with somebody you hate so much? For hair? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. But people who manage to do that, I just find that strange. It's like men who hate women and get in relationships with them because they want to bring them down. I just don't get that. That's got to be some kind of mental disorder. I just don't know what it's called. Anyway, so Will's tripping that another man picked her up. Will, were you mad that somebody actually came to pick her up and you thought it would be essentially a good punishment to have her out in the freezing cold? So she was supposed to stay out there freezing so you could get your point across. See, at this point, this sounds like she's your teenage daughter, and that's always a problem in a relationship, okay? That's not good, all right? Let's just cut it, get this annulled. This is trash. All right. So Courtney, you have these men wrapped around your finger. I'm not sure why, but nevertheless, especially since you spent a lot of time in jail, she was cursing Will out over $300, and she said to Will, you only sent me $300. I was like, somebody gave me $300 right now, I would still be grateful. What do you mean? I take 20, that at least gets a soda in New York. Anyway, but she was like, what am I supposed to do with that? Wipe my ass with it? I said, no, give the $300 to me. I'll show you what to do with it. I'm sitting up here like, this is somebody who does not work, who just got out of jail, in jail and was complaining about $300. There are people who never have anybody to put money on their commissary. And honestly, since jails are tax funded, whether we want them to be or not, those people should have the basics. Like, what is going on? Will, she never loved you. You offered her the most. And yes, she's been sleeping with Mark for years. Okay, move on. Move on with your life in the furries. All right, Bianca and Daniel, let me tell y'all something. I'm over them too. I am over them too. They are whack. They bring nothing. He's just finding out about a court appearance for shoplifting. I said, from a Walmart. I said, dang, you went back to drinking and shoplifting? No, the email was 20 days old. He's back in court for something he did before he went to prison. I said, they should have just kept you in there a few extra months so you could get this out of your life. So anyway, if he doesn't show up the next day, he can go back to jail. I think it's awfully convenient that he found that email the day before. Just interesting. I mean, God's grace abounds. Okay, so Beetlejuice comes in there. You know, she's crazy. She's the kind that will get mad and try to keep you from making court on time. She manages to make his forgetting to go to court about how he doesn't care about her, how he's selfish. You were saying all these things before he got out of prison, right when he got out of prison, and now, if he's that bad, go back to Florida and do your thing. But you can't because you're toxic, and that's what you like. Anyway, she manages, you know, to talk all this stuff. I was like, you were dumb for being with him straight out of jail and then telling him whatever mass amount you had from this accident. But he's the one that actually got stuck with you, Wednesday Addams. So whatever. How does she have all this money? And I can't be the only one to notice this. They clearly have a 2-bedroom apartment. And she has a mattress and then a mattress holder, right? And that's normal. Certainly for people in apartments, so on and so forth. But she doesn't have a bed structure for her mattress with all of this overflowing money. That to me, because the mattress we all know is the most expensive thing, seems just strange that you don't have a headboard and it's just up against the wall, but you have the, you know, mattress hold. It just seems strange to me. I'm just saying. And her and what's his name? Daniel. Have 2 different bedrooms, and I think that's best. Because otherwise, they get to fighting. Anyway, I just thought that was strange. Chica, get it together. So he's going to court with all his paperwork to prove he's trying to improve his life. We get it, Daniel. She's telling us how she can't trust him. We don't care. And he hasn't responded to her text. Like he doesn't have a lot of other things to do, like go to court. You're not supposed to be on your phone in court like that when you're talking to a judge. It indicates a level of disengagement. And judges can make personal decisions, subjective decisions all the time. But I'm just like, I don't get you. Like, if you don't like him this much, don't be with him. So she's acting stressed as she looks for treats and toys for this stupid cat. We don't care. Why does she have friends that support her delusions, that make him the bad guy? Remember she had her other friend come and visit that time? And she was like, you know, I feel like I was love bombed. No, you weren't. No, you were not. Okay? And Daniel is not taking down this girl, ex-neighbor, since you want to get in the interview and say, oh, he's bringing her down. From where? She was already in the basement. What do you mean bringing her down? To where? Water seeks his own level. Okay? Okay. Daniel is not the problem, but his mother told him, so I don't feel sorry for him either. Justine and Michael. Justine and Michael. Y'all may have graduated from this show in a way that also, well, I can't say in a way, because Brittany and Marcelino wanted for years. And I thought Brittany came a long way, right? But it just, y'all seem to be doing all right. I mean, comparatively. So Justine likes boxing, and she said that's better for her. She has like a treadmill. Mike suggested that they bring Mel a few times a week. his teenage daughter who got into a fight. And he basically says he's proud she defended herself and that she wasn't afraid. And that's not what we heard from him in the confessional last week when he said he was worried about her going to prison. So clearly, after these scenes, when he did his interview, he was clearly listening to Justine and was, persuaded, like, yeah, she could end up in jail over a mistake and it's not worth it. But anyway, I'm wondering how bad this fight was, though. Like, was this just some hair pulling or what? Like, did she mess this person up? Did they end up in the hospital or something? Like I said before, I can honestly tell you, Mel is young and she's pretty. And I know some people will sit up here, no. The pretty girl catches a lot of hell for no reason. I know this. I've seen this. I've seen it from my sisters. I've seen it with friends. And people will try to provoke you to take something away from you. I've seen it a million times. And that's automatically what I thought when I found that she had gotten in a fight. Anyway, so they're talking about wedding money versus investing in this barbershop business that Justine didn't know about until yesterday. They have a few businesses, including a credit business. That sounds like a scam. I wouldn't trust them with my credit, especially seeing the way they can't even focus on investing in a business. Businesses take time. That's why, especially in capitalism, it tries to make unbridled capitalism tries to make everybody an entrepreneur so they don't have to pay people decent wages. But the thing is, they never really want you to be an entrepreneur. But they'll say that. See, that's the way to be rich, to be your own boss. And people think they're their own boss. But business crashes and burns. When they say you have to have money to make money, you also need money for when it slams. Business is not just get up and run or stay that way. That's not how it works. That's why everybody can't be. That's why there's a 1%. It's like that because it's set up that way on purpose. And so if you believe that it's just in your hands and they give this white nationalist way of seeing it, see, if only you worked harder, if only after Black people built this country for free against their will, if only you just worked harder and owned your own stuff, you'd be fine. And that's why it's like, yeah, Black business is designed to exploit the consumer. Y'all realize that, right? Fundamentally, that is what it's designed to do in the capitalist society. That's why people can raise the utility bills at will and without consequence in this country, despite the fact that it's killing us. Anyway, so I get that Justine wants a wedding and feels like she deserves one day. Okay? And I do agree that every woman who gets married deserves that one day. But I don't think you need $60,000 to do it, especially if you don't have it. And when she said one day versus an investment, immediately I was like, see, Justine, when you said that, I was like, well, one day actually sounds ridiculous in comparison to an investment opportunity for people who need money for them 9 kids or however many they have. And when she said that, I was like, actually, that didn't hit the way you thought it would. I don't know that I see it as selfish for both their parts, but I just think it's irresponsible spending on both their parts. I'm not really convinced by either one of them. So she might also be stressed by the fact that she has so many kids in the house. We don't know. That's maybe why she boxed him. But Justine is fussing at the kids about balling up a cereal bag in a box. I said, oh, she that kind of stressed. Now, I know kids get fussed at for that all the time, but it just seems like Justine is just moving up that way. She needs a vacation. I know, but that ain't really what she's mad about. So Justine says she's not interested in investing in a barbershop. Well, you're married, you make decisions together, Michael. Suck it up, since you have all these other businesses and the celebrities come to you for renting cars. That's what you told us. Anyway, so she's interested in investing in her wedding. I know weddings are sacred ceremonies. I know they're important. But they are not really an investment. All money is doing is going out. Once again, Another way people exploit it, they know, they tell you it's supposed to be a big day, you're supposed to have a pretty dress, and you should. But that's why, photographers can cost $5,000 and all this other stuff. But it's not an investment. I mean, it's great to have memories, but it's not an investment. Money goes out, it doesn't come back in. Anyway, so they're talking about making people with the barbershop have a $250 experience for a haircut. Hair is already too high. It's too high to get your hair cut from a woman or a man. The fact that there are haircuts now for like $60, that is bull. I even remember when it was just like $15, $20. I just, okay. And quite frankly, I don't think men look for that experience. Well, never mind. I can't say that. I think $100,000 as an investment. The thing is, that's not guaranteed either. Both of them, both Justine and Michael, have good points for disagreeing with what to use their money on, whether a business or a wedding. However, neither one of them have good ideas on what to spend their money on. I don't think the barbershop is a solution, and I don't think the wedding is the solution. These partners honestly look a little suspect. I mean, I need to know, have they shown successful business acumen, right? Like, what have they done? Since you have 3 businesses, something tells me if they did, they wouldn't be so ready to work with an ex-con. No shade, Michael, because I think it's great that you're doing something with your life. And I like Michael. I just think this guy is willing to use Michael's place on a reality show to promote it. But I don't think it's going to have a Real Housewives Bravo kind of promotion, or even in his heyday, Love and Hip Hop promotion. Like that. This is not the show for that. Okay, I don't think people are going to go because of that. All right, certainly not to spend money, just to be nosy. All right. Brooke and JK. They are just a perpetual implosion. There are so many things wrong with this relationship. So Bonnie texts JK so she can tattle on Brooke. And Brooke, at this point, I don't have no idea why you told this girl, who told on Alex, who told everything, who really wants JK, but she is not his type. Like, cut it out. Just cut it out. So JK, while he's trying to figure out whether he should buy this truck with money he doesn't have, his biological father comes to help him buy a car. His father traveled a lot as a freight driver, and truck drivers do travel on a regular basis. My uncle was one, so he used to have to do that. And he resents him for being gone in his life so much. So he feels abandoned in many ways, okay? His father did not respond back to him from a letter he wrote when he was in jail, and he said it was pages and pages. He wrote all about his feelings and how his childhood affected him. And then his father only wrote back to him about his job and his dog. And thus we see the problem. JK doesn't like taking responsibility for his wrong behavior, and his father has replaced him, maybe not physically in his life, but with other things that are more important, and can't really receive that he is part of how his son ended up in those positions. I think any parent with any kind of sense has to reflect on that, because jail is no place for anybody to be. So he said he's disappointed by JK's path, but I think his father also is missing the part that raising a kid doesn't mean just working and sending in child support money. Am I the only one that thinks his mom and dad are both gay? Like they had a lavender marriage? Because when I saw that rumor, and I know that's a family friend and everything, but just something about JK's mom's appearance. Like if the other lady, whatever her name is, that was living in the house was his mom, I wouldn't immediately assume that. It's just giving weird. That's all. It's weird. And nothing's wrong with that. I'm just curious. Anyway, his father says his main concern with JK being out is that he's afraid JK will give up. Okay, so father, help him not give up. what do you know? Since work is such a big deal to you, and especially driving trucks is something people oftentimes can do out of prison, then so be it. Like, help him, okay? Now, we know he's lazy, but still make the effort. He was like, he has a temper and he lashes out. Yes, those are very bad qualities to have because, once again, back to Justine's point, one bad mistake, like you blow up and hurt somebody, and yes, I can totally see why that's a concern. But those are qualities, JK's dad, that you as a man should have taught him to hone as a young male before it got out of control. Period. So he didn't end up in those circumstances. And don't get me wrong, I know you cannot blame your parents for the rest of your life, but childhood determines so much about who you become as an adult. So he's responding to Bonnie's text immediately. Now, Brooke can't always get her text back, but he can respond to Bonnie. And is on his way to go to her restaurant. It's amazing how he doesn't respond as quickly to Brooke, but will with Bonnie's foolishness. Anyway, so she's on break, but she decides to spend her break doing a scene tattling on another woman. She tells him Brooke is not at work because Brooke doesn't have a job. But Brooke, you were dumb as hell for telling this girl. Why? Oh, I'm gonna see if she's a pick-me versus this. There are plenty of ways to tell that. We've already seen that with her behavior. Why is she in your apartment? And you were paying all the bills. When she lost her job, you had sympathy for her. See how people will do you? Anyway, Brooke is staying with JK and his mom. She's cooking for the family, trying to help. Meanwhile, her mom is taking care of her kids with her money and her resources. So maybe the baby daddies aren't the only deadbeats, Brooke. You made this big deal about him having a role in your kid's life, and you so willingly trade them out to spend time and watch JK because you don't trust him. That's not worth it, and that's why your mother fired you. Because there was no sense in her keeping you on payroll where somebody else would come in and do that job because they need one and would be more reliable. And you're still not getting it. All right? Brooke feels a way that his mom doesn't think they're ready to get married and have a baby. You're not. You got fired from your job because you chasing him to somebody's house who could have called the police and said you were on their property. And just staying working under your mother. That was stupid. You already had the information on your phone with the tracker. Please. Okay? So, he came in huffy and didn't want to eat the food at the table because he's mad that she doesn't have a job. She was like, he will leave me. So then he's using you. You have 2 kids. It is a man's job to provide and protect. He doesn't protect and he does not provide. Okay, and honestly, of the 2, just at least pick a struggle. Anyway, because I know life happens, but these are things they could not have as problems. Yeah. And he said in the confessional that it's not just about her having a job, it's about stability. I said, bruh, one of the main aspects of stability is having a job and a consistent form of income, you dummy. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Why are y'all even talking about having kids? Like, Brooke, you want something to, like, hold him, it won't work. And he wants that to control her. You can already tell he's controlling and has abusive tendencies. Anyway, Brooke, you are a dummy for telling Bonnie, and I cannot overemphasize that enough. Okay? You knew what she was going to do, and honestly, I'd kick her out. I'd say she was trespassing. Her name isn't on that lease. I'd call the police if she wouldn't leave. I'd make this a thing. Don't worry. So he accuses her of being like Alex, which is a way of triangulating them and playing these games. She loses it. These are 2 wildly disrespectful people. First of all, for cursing and fighting in front of their parents, or in front of the parents, and their mother's friend. at the dinner table, no less. Like, what are y'all doing? He didn't say, can I talk to you outside or anything like that. The mama is like, you shouldn't have lied. What does it matter? Both of them are screwed up. No, she shouldn't have lied, but y'all should have also drawn the line and said, well, she can't stay here. She does not need to be with him. How is he tripping about her having a job? She said, well, you don't have a job. And he was like, I'm getting one. Well, I'm waiting. If you don't go to hell, okay, you got your nerve. I wouldn't be explaining nothing to a jailbird. I would get in my car that he snatched the keys out of that time, and it's on tape. See, Brooke, take this to the authorities to get your life together. Anyway, Kiana, Demadrick, and Joella, because I refuse to say Kiana and Demadrick, especially since Joella got a mic hook up. Anyway, so she's dropped her kids off, Kiana, all right? But she's asking him what time he came home last night. Girl, you don't know? Do y'all live together? Do y'all live together? Anyway, were you at work? Like, at work, again, supporting his lifestyle? No, ma'am. And when I found out you had 2 kids that had not been mentioned previously, but you had sent like over $30,000 to him, you up here working to take care of him because you competing with Joella and probably a bunch of other chicks. That's money that you could be putting away for your kids' college fund. Because the way things are going now, and even if they, go to school and get support, if that exists by the time they get there, give it to them for a down payment on the house. Are you kidding me? Like, miss me, okay? So he told her how Joella wasn't going to let her come to the kid's birthday party. And she was like, she's petty. Okay, first of all, Kiana, why you didn't send out outright nude pics of this woman, you still put what was supposed to be private personal pictures that would not be sent to his phone if he was not messing with her. And if she was sending them without provocation, he would have deleted them and blocked her. He would have. So he's been looking at them. Got it. Okay? And not just simply looking at them like, fawning over them. Anyway, so it's not petty. And you can't do that to somebody and still expect that they let you around their kids at their kid's birthday party. I mean, Joella said the kids can come. I personally wouldn't let my kids come because you don't like me. I'm afraid you will mistreat my children. But anyway, so just don't let your kids go. Why are you tripping? Like, this is wild to me. This is so hood, ghetto. Brain doesn't work. Like, everything is just broke. Anyway, he was like, y'all are making this about y'all and making this about me. And it's about my son. Nah, I gotta stop you there, Demadrick. You are the core of the problem. You keep messing with both of them. So don't say they're just making it about, themselves. You created this. This doesn't have to be that way. And yes, we know you still sleeping with Joella. Anyway, so he claims he's doing everything for his family. Demadrick, what do? You're dependent on 2 women to take care of you. One, Kiana, is taking care of you and supporting you. And then Joella takes on basically all of the kind of care and housing and food and clothing for her 3 children. And you got 3 more somewhere. Huh? But you see, they're not letting that other one. We saw that picture when his face was blurred out. That other baby mama not playing that. That's why I'm thinking the other 3 baby mamas don't really care for you. Like, it's kind of like I figured out how to do it myself anyway. And they're like, you see how much hell you bring to their lives? So she's mad that they're arguing about Joella again. Kiana, you could leave him alone, and that would fix all of this. I keep saying, even though I found that you had 2 kids, you don't have one with him. You have 2 kids. You can go on. I know it seems like the end of the world and it's hard to find a good man, and yes, it is. But baby, not only you can do bad by yourself, you can do better by yourself. Okay? Miss me. Anyway, and honestly, Joella may not even be the person to really worry about. Men like him go around banging plenty of other girls. So why you worried about Joella? He could be with, I don't know how many others. Because, people like that, that's, mess with a lot of women and manipulative. It's never enough for them. So she said she described in the confessional that, I'm talking about Kiana, that her and Demontre are best friends. They had the best time together. They had fun, but he hurts her a lot and they don't have trust in their relationship. I said, girl, bye. Okay. So he love bombs you and then hurts you. All right. So we get Joella. She's in school. I'm assuming cosmetology school since she had her own kind of makeup or whatever. We find out her father has been in jail most of her life. And her mother always had to work to support her. Like life happens, which is probably why she knows how to work hard, take care of her kids. And basically her grandmother raised her, right? So she's doing things, basically in her grandmother's honor. I'm not sure if she's still alive. She seemed very affected when she brought her grandmother's name. Hearing her say she wants to be a better mother, and you could see the tears welling up in her eyes, I said, there it is. There it is. She ended up with the same kind of man her father was, in jail, not there. That's why she thinks being abandoned or having a man drop in every now and then is love. Even though she knows it feels wrong, it's what she knows and what's familiar. And honestly, my heart goes out to her. I really, I know they messy, both of them. My heart goes out to both of them. I hope they both get their sense. But in that moment, I said, there it is. So according to Joella, Demontre came over the other night and wanted to, basically get down. And I'm just like, we knew that. And she said she can get it if she wants it. I believe you. Demontre is triangulating them, and maybe even other baby moms at this point, or other women at this point, especially with this show, because some women are just birds, right? See him on the show and they be like, well, I'm messing with him too. And Kiana, you called this show and set all this up, but at the same time, I mean, I can say that at least all three of y'all are getting paid, because we know Demontre doesn't have a job. But also, I don't know whether to say that was a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, it's a bad idea because it'll be on tape forever and you look stupid. But also, I mean, I guess that's extra income, so he's not a complete dud. Anyway, so the people Kiana works with in the hair salon, the ones who told her the truth, the ones who warned her, the ones who were telling her this is a bad idea, and still saying it in a way that I thought was loving, but also like, girl, you need to get it together. Okay? And those are the kind of people you need in your life, not people encouraging the foolishness. So they're both checking her and asking her the right kind of questions and warning her. And they're like, how do you know Demontre isn't telling her the same thing? Because they know. They've been there, lived, and they also clearly use their brains. Joella, you calling Kiana delusional because you can get it whenever you want from Demontre, both of y'all are delusional. Both of you. Y'all know about each other. That's the thing. Y'all know about each other. And y'all know he's sleeping with both of y'all, but he's living with her. So for you to continue sleeping with him is also stupid. Your friend is stupid for saying, yeah, you're right, she's delusional. Both of y'all are, because she should have just said, that's why you need to leave him alone. Because it's not going to be worth it in the end. Apparently, Kiana goes crying in the bathroom, and, everybody's like, pipe down, why are you tripping? Apparently, Joella has done something for revenge, and she was like, she pushed me there. And the bottom line is, if you have pictures and you put them on the internet, that means she has access to Demontre's phone as well. Does that sound like just a baby mother and a platonic relationship at this point with kids? No. All right. Anyway, I'll see y'all next week for Life After Lockup. I'll talk to y'all soon.